another episode of Inside Phantoms Hockey, the official podcast of the Youngstown Phantoms hockey team. Alongside Jake Drzezinski and Sean Takachi, I'm Sean Stewart. Well, boys, it's been a couple weeks since we've been back in the studio, but it feels great to be back with you guys.
It's good to finally be back, and something that we can say that we couldn't say before is we finally got a hometown win.
Yeah, obviously we apologize for not getting this out last week. Pretty busy week ahead of us, but thankfully we came out with a W, first one at home.
Yeah, it was definitely great to see getting that first win at the Chiavelli Center against the what's really turning into a kind of a bit of a rivalry. We heard Brad Patterson mention it in the 2 minutes with Coach in the pregame show, but the series against Dubuque this year has been hard fought. It's been nasty at times. It's been gritty, but it's been everything that the Phantoms pride themselves on. It's been good, solid, grimy, dirty hockey, and the Phantoms able to come away with a big 6-3 victory here at home.
Yeah, I completely agree. If you remember towards our first podcast, I said October 26th, banner raising night, game to watch. And it was a good game to watch. And with Dubuque, it's turning out to be a good series. We've beat them in the playoffs last year. Now, so far through a couple games this year, it's been a couple really competitive games.
And Coach Nick Peruzzi in studio with us here in just a little bit, as well as discussing the upcoming series with the Central Illinois Flying Aces. 3-game series ahead this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Monday for the annual school day game. We'll get to that in just a minute. But circling back around to Dubuque, Phantoms playing them 4 times this season and already taking 2 out of the 3 games that we've played. Phantoms really showing what they can do against the team that they beat to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
I'd like to go back a little bit to that Eastern Conference Championship banner. Incredible atmosphere in the Chiavelli Center during the banner raising. But something that you weren't expecting is, the new guy to have the crazy game. You normally expect those returning players to be in that moment, very emotional, very ready to play, very highly motivated to get back to that spot. And it's Connor McEachern who has the great game. New kid on the block, wasn't here last year, but didn't care. He wanted to leave it all out on the ice for his fellow teammates.
Just watching the game, up in the press box, calling the game, both of his goals were both tremendous shots from right above the face-off dot. You had Brett Murray on one goal sitting in front of the net and Joey Abate sitting in front on the other goal. And Connor McEachern just rips these shots out of nowhere, and I don't think Dubuque's goaltender really had a chance to even stop it.
You make a good point, Sean, about shooting from the same area. And what's so interesting is where he's shooting from, you normally expect a defenseman to be. It's something to be said that, Coach Patterson's sliding a forward back there. When you transition and you circle around, you get everybody filling each other's places. That's where the chemistry builds. It's also crazy that, from that position, he's shooting a wrist shot. Generally above the top of the circle, that's not where a wrist shot should go. You want to shoot a hard, strong, low clapper. Get ready for something to bounce off somebody, just get those loose and dirty goals. You mentioned, putting Brett Murray in front there, and that's kind of how that whole play puts together. The traffic in front was incredible. It was the only reason that they've had the success that they've had on these top of the key and high circle shots. I wonder how much Coach Patterson is going to keep putting this in his playbook and keep putting McEachern up on the high slot rather than down low where a forward belongs.
And I know from watching practice and things like that, the net front presence as well as the ability to work on tipping shots in. That's been something that we've seen, from the top down, NHL down, is teams are working on their hand-eye coordination, working on the ability to redirect those shots and almost creating plays for those shots, and that looks like something that the Phantoms have been implementing on the power play as well. Maybe we can get some more insight on that when we talk to assistant coach Nick Peruzzi here in a little bit, but it's definitely been something they've been working on. It's definitely been paying off for the Phantoms this season thus far.
Going back to what you said, Jake, and I completely agree with you, Sean, but going back to what you said, Jake, it was a lot of our returners. McEachern was the number 1 star in the game, voted by our off-ice officials. But looking at the score sheet here, Liam Dennison got on the board. Joey Abate did. Dalton Messina. Dennison actually had 2 assists. during the game. Kuntar got his first goal of the season. Needham put in the empty netter. We had a lot of guys who were on this team that contributed during this game too.
I guess what I'm getting at with that comment, and you're right, a lot of the returners are scoring. You expect almost a little bit more. I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I was ready for some raw emotion, We're looking at a franchise historical record. No team ever has done that before. These guys have done it through grit and grime, and I was looking for an all-out pour of athletic ability and, desire.
And I think maybe you saw that in this game. However, it may not have shown up on the score sheet, but just the pure energy that the team came out with, just the fast start. McEachran getting the first goal at 7:51 of the first. It was a fast start to this game, fast pace, which has been the case for all of the Dubuque games thus far this season. But it was definitely a much quicker pace. I think this is probably the first game this season that you could say that the Phantoms played, if not as close to if they played about 60 minutes of hockey. It was pretty darn close to playing a full 60 minutes hockey, and that's what the coaching staff and GM Jason Kohler have been looking for all season.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the energy, and I kind of want to go back to that for a second. I don't know why we stop at Dubuque. Realistically, the Phantoms have only played one full slow game, and then other than that, 5 or 10 minutes of slow play for the whole games. The energy point has been great for the entire season, and I fully expect that it's going to continue to grow as we go. I don't know that I saw that much difference of energy from this game to previous games, which is really, exciting for us because that means, we're going to get a couple more of those wins. We're doing the right things. It just things are going our way this time around.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jake. A lot of what I've seen is the energy and efforts there every single game. But, I mean, we put up 6 goals against Dubuque. This is the first time we were able to convert on these opportunities. We were not hitting the post. We were getting it to the back of the net. Trevor Kuntar's goal, I was completely shocked that it went in. He gets that pass right in the slot, and he just does a 360 spin, puts it on net, and guess what? It's sitting in the back of the net. That goal probably should not be going in compared to how Thiessen was squared up with that shot. But he didn't see it.
And poor Thiessen, by the way. Let's talk about this 201 for a second. Not even a remote chance of saving that. The Phantoms transition game was on point, and I loved it. Getting a shout-out from the USHL itself. It was a beautiful goal.
It was beautiful. We were up in the production booth, and all along the headsets, all you hear is, oh, here we go, and then it was just mouth drop. It was a picture-perfect 2-0, and it was capitalized on by Gianfranco Casero there in the third period to extend that Phantoms lead. And what a fun goal, what a fun game. And it's definitely going to continue this upcoming weekend with Central Illinois.
Yeah, going back to that, watching the game, me and Matt Lipsack, and we were sitting there after the goal happens, and we're telling each other, that was almost one too many passes. It kind of scared me. For how many passes, that was about 4 or 5 passes that they made going down on that 2-0. And by the time that Casaro let that shot go, he was almost even with the post.
Yeah, Sean, I mean, you're right on with that, the amount of passes. You never want to play with your food too much in the sense of fooling around in front of the goalie. Just thank God Dubuque didn't get back fast enough because we were able to capitalize on a sick goal for the Phantoms.
Yeah, and the Phantoms capitalizing on great transition game and something we are looking forward to seeing against the Central Illinois Flying Aces this weekend. But we'll get to that in just a minute. But coming up next, we will have assistant coach Nick Peruzzi in studio to discuss last week's games, the upcoming games, and maybe just have a little fun with them as Halloween is just around the corner. You're listening to Inside Phantoms Hockey. Warrior Warehouse Fitness and Obstacle Training Center is a one-of-a-kind fitness facility featuring a unique blend of both traditional and alternative fitness for enthusiasts of all levels. Looking to be the next American Ninja Warrior? Practice your skills on their Ninja Obstacle course. Warrior Warehouse is dedicated to helping you crush your goals, test your limits, and facilitate a new you. Come experience what you didn't realize you were looking for at Warrior Warehouse Fitness and Obstacle Training Center. Warrior Warehouse, where serious comes to play. Warrior Warehouse is the official off-ice team training facility of the Youngstown Phantoms. Welcome back to Inside Phantoms Hockey. We are now joined in studio by assistant coach Nick Peruzzi. Nick, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Sean.
Well, it's great to have you on the show for the first time this season. We just discussed the series with Dubuque. Talk about that game. Obviously, picking up the first win at home was huge. Talk a little bit about what went into the efforts to get that win.
Yeah, it was a good game for us, obviously, as a group to come out on top. And, we're happy to do that in front of our home fans here in Youngstown and show them, a winning product and taking a step towards what we're ultimately trying to become, which is, to get back to where we ended last year with obviously a little different results. So it was good to feel the energy in the building and the energy, in the crowd. And anytime you can get a win at home, it's something special.
Nick, we saw your face at the end of that game. You almost had a sigh of relief look on your face. Nice to break the losing streak and kind of go into this upcoming weekend against Central Illinois on a winning streak.
Yeah, it's just, I guess it's relief, but it's also just happy for our guys. I felt there's games where they worked extremely hard, and there's some games, in hockey, and that's hockey, where, you probably deserve better, and you don't get the result, and there's games where maybe you don't deserve it, and you get the result. So for us, it was just nice to see our efforts be rewarded and the guys see them happy after the game, but obviously it's on to Central Illinois now, and that's where our focus is.
Nick, talking about the team over the first 9 games, especially over that road trip, how's the team bonded so far?
Great. We do a very good job. Jason, Brad, Jeff, myself, everyone involved in the hockey upside, bringing in not only the right talent and the right skill level of player, but also the right character of player. So we feel we've done a great job in assembling a group of men that carry themselves the right way, that play Phantom hockey, that embody what we want our culture to be like. So from that standpoint, it's been fantastic.
You mentioned the Phantoms culture. It's something that we've talked about, with Brad, with Jason. It really seemed in these games against Dubuque that the Phantoms were able to get to that game and play almost a full 60 minutes. Do you feel that this last game was the first time all season that the Phantoms have played a full 60 minutes of hockey?
Yeah, we've come close in other games, maybe a couple minute lapse where it ended up kind of hurting us. But I felt, from that standpoint of playing an entire 60, I still think we can be even better than what we showed past game. So for us, it's just continuing to get better each week and get better, today than we were yesterday. That's our mindset. So
Matt Lipsack talked to Brad for a second about the energy on the ice. Kind of going back to that full 60 minutes. Have you seen the energy pick up in the locker room, even after practices, coming off of this win at home?
Yeah, it was. We're off to a good start here this week with practice. Obviously, coming in off a win. Your week's really a result of your weekend, usually. You come in, you're excited, you feel the good energy from, obviously, the result we got over the weekend. So, yeah, the guys are excited. But our practices are upbeat and energetic all the time. It's a fun place to play, and we really pride ourselves on making our environment fun and high energy and upbeat for the guys, and it's contagious.
Switching gears here, just going off of what you said for the players playing in Youngstown, how's coaching in Youngstown for your second year here?
Oh, it's great, man. I love it here. It feels like home. Being down here, I think we share a similar mindset in terms of how we want to, not only develop our players but motivate, and it's just a great culture. Everyone's real supportive of each other, from the GM, from the front office, from the hockey side of it, business side of it. It's like one big family. So it's been fantastic.
We interviewed Gianfranco Casero earlier in the season, and you came up about your returning and what your particular bond is with the players. You're a little bit of a less age gap between you and the players than more so Brad or Nick. Does that affect your coaching style, or I guess your mentorship of the players at all, the age gap?
You know what? I got into coaching, fortunately at a younger age. My father back home we had the Oakland program there, so I've been working with. It's funny. I started with the 97, 98 birth class, so it's still kind of just been, following that trend with that age group, and obviously a little older now, but at the same time, I still pride myself on energy and being able to kind of get down to their level and maybe see things through a similar lens. It is a little bit of an age gap, but at the same time, I pride myself in making sure I'm just doing whatever I can to motivate and serve our players.
So Nick, just talking about that Oakland team, I'm sure some of the fans want to know more about especially that team and what kind of goes into, AAA hockey, and especially we do as a front office. If you want to talk about the experience that you had there.
Yeah, you know what? AAA hockey, being with, obviously it's special anytime you can coach with a family member, obviously my dad, and then a couple other coaches there that I had the opportunity to work with. We were all similar to here. We have all, a similar mindset in how we want to develop the players, and that's really what it's all about, especially at youth hockey. It's about developing boys into men and turning these kids into a product that not only is going to get to junior hockey, but stay and succeed at junior hockey. And we really prided ourselves in that, and I feel development and winning go hand in hand. If you do a good job developing your players and helping them maximize their potential, then on the other side of it, you're probably going to end up with a lot of good results in the win column. So that was special being a part of that organization.
You mentioned kind of turning boys into men. Someone who's been a man on the ice has been Brett Murray.
Yeah.
He's been an absolute force this season. Talk a little bit about him and what he can bring to the Phantoms.
He's just obviously I didn't have the opportunity to work with Brett a couple years ago when he was here, and I've heard from Jason and Brad and the guys that we're here what he brings, and it's all that and more. When you're working with Brad, it's like dealing with a professional. He's just got such a laser focus to him, to his game, to how he carries himself, to how he is on the ice, off the ice. I mean, he's one of our hardest working guys in practice. He might not be the most vocal guy, but when he steps on that ice, he can command the attention of his teammates by his work ethic and how he goes about his business. In the games, he's been awesome. He's using his frame. He's a large man. He's getting his nose above pucks, playing heavy, and he really is a special player and special piece to our puzzle.
Nick, we're talking about this upcoming week against Central Illinois. Obviously, a daunting task being such a highly ranked team versus us. Not that we necessarily deserve to be in the place that we're at, but can you talk a little bit about what your plans and what your strategies are for such a fast-paced team?
Yeah, they're a good skating team like any team in this league, and it's just like any other team in this league. If you come out sleeping or you're not ready to go, you're not going to like the results. So it's a deep league, deep teams, and we got to be ready to go. At the same time, it's all about us. We focus on doing us and worrying about what we need to do. Obviously, we're aware of some of their players and tendencies, but at the end of the day, it's about doing us.
So, Nick, last question here to wrap up the segment. I'm sure a lot of the fans also want to know, what made you, not too many people know this, but what made you want to get a degree in finance?
Yeah, I went to school there for a finance degree. I felt that it's a part of the business, obviously the financial side of business, and just for not only to apply that to a company, but to my life and moving into the future with my goals on a personal side, just having a sound understanding of the money side of things and the financial side of things. So that's about it.
Well, Nick, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us on the show. Good luck this weekend and have fun.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
We'll be right back to take a look at the upcoming games with the Central Illinois Flying Aces. You're listening to Inside Phantoms Hockey.
Show off your Youngstown pride by sporting the latest in Phantoms gear. Don't know where to get it? Head over to youngstownphantoms.com and click on the Team Shop link for the latest in jerseys, hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. Let everyone know that you're the biggest Phantoms fan around. And be sure to stop by the Dunkin' Donuts Team Shop next time you're at the Cavelli Center. Head to youngstownphantoms.com and visit the Team Shop today.
Welcome back to Inside Phantoms Hockey. Thanks to Nick Peruzzi for taking time to sit down with us. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the upcoming games with the Central Illinois Flying Aces and a couple of big games this weekend. We have Sci-Fi Night, College Night, and the annual high school game on Monday. 3 games this weekend in a 4-day span. Taking a look ahead, the Phantoms record may not necessarily be where we want it to be right now, 2-6-0-1, only 5 points on the year. And Central Illinois, on the flip side, at the top of the conference at 6-3-1-0 with 13 points. So, tale of two different stories here between the two teams. Of course, former Phantom Max Ellis on the Central Illinois Flying Aces roster. Max currently has 10 points and is tied for third on Central Illinois in scoring. And the leading scorer for the Phantoms is Connor McEachran, the man of the hour in the game against Dubuque last Friday, leading the team with 8 points. So I know there's a lot going on this weekend, but first I want to get to the games itself. What have you guys noticed that Central Illinois has been doing well to give them the record that they have?
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point about Max Ellis returning, but he's not who I'm watching. I'm watching Ethan Martini, 6'6". We got a battle of the big guys. I'm excited to see who prevails, him or Brett Murray. You got a defenseman and a forward. They're going to be facing off in close quarters with one another. It's not going to be like two Ds on opposite ends of the ice. They're going to be right butt up next to each other. I'm going to be excited to see who prevails.
I don't think there's really one thing that you can point out that Central Illinois is doing particularly well. It's an all-around game that they're playing. They're doing every little facet correctly. They're playing a full 200-foot game. So you can't really pinpoint one thing, especially because the record dictates that they are playing well in every facet.
And something that the Phantoms are doing exceptionally well is playing on the power play, playing with the man advantage, currently leading the Eastern Conference at 25% exactly. 10 for 40 on the season. So the Phantoms definitely getting that power play going, and it's something that we saw against Dubuque, the 2 power play goals in the first period. And the penalty kill isn't bad either at 80.5%. So special teams really, really working well for the Phantoms so far.
And if you've been looking at the Phantoms, last couple of games, as low scoring as they are, minus, this home winner we just got with 6 goals, most other goals are, under 3, and having those power plays be able to convert for us are going to be massive in the coming future.
And I guess going back to my point, too, earlier.
It's all about you.
I was about to say, it's just looking at the stats here, I thought they were playing an all-around well game, and it turns out that their special teams could be their downfall.
I think you're absolutely right, Sean. The special teams is a huge part of the Phantom season this so far. In Central Illinois, they've been on the power play a lot. They've only capitalized 7 times out of 51 chances. So not that great. They're sitting at 13.7%. Penalty kill just a little bit better, 14 for 51. They do have a shorthanded goal that they've scored. They also have 2 shorthanded goals that they've had scored against on them. So that's something that the Phantoms have not allowed yet. They have not allowed a team to score when the Phantoms are on the man advantage.
In our penalty kill, I wouldn't take anyone else in the league over Needham and Messina. Those guys do an excellent job at killing penalties, and they've created a lot of opportunities on the penalty kill. They may have not got the results shorthanded, but they create a lot of opportunities, and I think it makes it really difficult for opposing teams to convert on the power play.
And you're forgetting about one of the most important people on our PK, and that's John Moore. We still need a great game out of him. He had an excellent game on Friday, and I think he's finally gotten the win he deserves out of all the efforts he's put forward in his times here at Youngstown. But I really need to see him have another good game. We can't stop the momentum now. Morsey needs to keep having great games, and I think the fans will keep capitalizing on some wins.
I agree wholeheartedly there, Jake. And just looking at the way the games have gone for the Phantoms this year, they've been in each and every game. Maybe an empty net goal here or there that's put them down 2 goals at the end. But for the most part, this has been a 1-goal game season. They've been close. They've been in every single game, minus the one where they lost to Muskegon 3-0 here a couple weeks back. But looking at Central Illinois, losing 6-5 to Sioux Falls in the opener, winning 5-4 against Waterloo, losing at home to Waterloo 5-1, losing to Green Bay 6-2. A lot of these games they have not necessarily been in. But something that does stand out to me is that 7-3 game against Team USA. And that's a big win when you're playing that caliber of opponent in the U18s and coming away with a big victory.
The other thing that we need to see from the Phantoms for this game is, we've been having issues with playing 55 minutes of hockey. We need 60 minutes of hockey. We can't be stopping short. I think that's something that, Nick alluded to in our interview and that we'll keep pushing forward in the next couple of games.
So if we move on to players to watch here, who do you guys have being the key factors in this game?
I've got a bold prediction for you boys, and I'm going to lay it down to the final T. Everybody mark it on their calendars. Guess who's just moved to Central Illinois? We got Bonita Posa. That name might not mean anything to you, but it means something to Brett Murray. My big, bold prediction is here. You're going to have those two fighting. It's a Battle of the Titans rematch. While they're both in the penalty box, you're going to get John Franco Casero coming down and scoring for the Phantoms. I'm going to give it, 4-6 Phantoms victory over Central Illinois.
You're really pulling out all the stops there,
I'm
Jake.
pulling out all the stops. And you know why, Sean? Is because we need to pull out all the stops against Central Illinois. And so I'm going to do it in here, and the boys are going to do it on the ice.
I sure hope so. And fans, if you did not get a chance to see that fight, you absolutely should. It's on the Phantoms YouTube page from the game against Muskegon in Muskegon. And what about that was two great competitors going at it. And Brett Murray, I would say came out on top, but it was definitely a great bout. And you never want to wish for a fight, but it's definitely something that's exciting for not only the fans, but I know the guys get up for it too.
So for me, I have a key matchup here, a game within the game. It's going to be John Moore versus a familiar foe in Trevor Janicki. Janicki leads the team in points for Central Illinois. He's got 12. He's averaging over a point a game. Both are pretty familiar with each other. Could John Moore make the stops on him?
I think absolutely he could. Having played together with Team USA, you know your shooter's tendencies. You know where they like to go. But on the flip side, the shooters also know your tendencies as a goaltender. So you kind of saw this when Crosby and Malkin were facing Marc-Andre Fleury against when he moved to Vegas. It's kind of hard to say who has the upper hand. I'm going to have to probably always go shooter because as a shooter, you know what the goaltender's probably thinking, and you know that I'm probably going to have to change some things up. And, he might have the upper hand, but I think the Phantoms defense are going to have to kind of step up and not allow them to get those chances in close to John Moore.
Here's my thought about that statement you just made, Sean. I don't know that I agree with you necessarily because as a goalie, you have to understand the biggest thing is positioning and the second biggest thing is patience. If you make that shooter shoot first, you can move yourself and position yourself and learn how their head is throughout the game. Coming in cold on a goalie is not always an easy thing. John Moore has an incredible advantage where he doesn't have to make a move. He doesn't have to outskate all 5 Phantoms to come in and score. He just has to be patient, keep his head clear, be ready to react to where the puck is going, and have a sharp mind. And I think John is ready to take on those challenges.
So after this past game against Dubuque, offense came alive here. I was really impressed with the McEachran line with Murray. So it's going to be a good matchup here. Central Illinois getting high-scoring affairs all the time. I think this line could put up some points during this 3-game stand.
It's going to be a fun series. It's most definitely going to be a fun series. Definitely a lot of fun things going on, which we will get to in just a minute. But before we head to break, I want to get your guys' prediction. Who do you have scoring the first Phantoms goal?
I guess I'll take the lead here, and I'll go Trevor Kuntar. I've been impressed with him throughout practice and throughout games. He finally broke through. I think he's going to get another one.
He's hot right now. I don't see any reason for him to slow down. I'm going back with McEachran. He's my hero of the game.
I like it. I like both those picks. We have Kuntar, McEachran. I like what you said earlier about John Franco Casero. I think if the Phantoms get on the power play early, there's a good chance that he could get one once again. So I'm going to go with Casero. And fans, be sure that you, if you want to join in on the fun, predict the Phantoms' first goal, be sure to tweet at us at YTown Phantoms, comment on our Facebook page, and tell us who you think is going to score the first Phantoms goal this Friday against the Central Illinois Flying Aces. We're going to step aside, and when we come back, we will be discussing all of the fun events and fun promotions that we'll be having this weekend. You're listening to Inside Phantoms Hockey.
Britton Gallagher has all the insurance coverage you and your family needs. Their experienced, passionate client team offers personalized recommendations and specialized protection best suited for you. Located in downtown Cleveland on East 9th Street, Britton Gallagher has provided risk management solutions for over 75 years. Whether it's your home, car, or any valuable possessions, Britton Gallagher delivers you the best insurance coverage. Visit BrittonGallagher.com for more information. Britton Gallagher, strategy, execution, service.
You know, boys, there's a lot of things in life that I love, but two of them are hockey and beer. And the fans this Saturday can definitely get plenty of it for college night this upcoming Saturday. Welcome back to Inside Phantoms Hockey. It's now time to take a look at the upcoming promotions for the weekend. We have sci-fi night on Friday, college night on Saturday. It's definitely going to be another fun-filled weekend. Lots going on, and let's start with sci-fi night.
Well, I think let's start a little bit broader than that. We got out of the game last weekend, and there was one thing written on the board. We all sat in that meeting, and it's fans first. We want to make sure that our fans have the best time they possibly can at these games. So we're trying to do, as crazy and as fun as we possibly can at games. Going back to sci-fi night, we want to get those specialty moments that you don't really get that often. We've got the Ghostbusters coming out. We've got marshmallow and Nerf shooters. We've got, our tradition that we're just starting this year, which is the water balloon fight at the end of the game. There's no reason that kids can't be kids and kids can't play. So we're opening up the rink at the end of the game to, help clean up chocolate pucks and to, just have a little bit of fun on the ice. Y'all heard Andrew Goldman's interview at the beginning of the game, his kids, and after talking to Oliver, the first thing he said is that all he would love to do at the end of a hockey game is just a chance to run around on the ice. And we'd love to provide that to any fan that is willing and able to do so.
Yeah, it's definitely a new and fun tradition. A lot of new and fun things that we are bringing to the fans this season. Like you said, it's always going to be fan first. Sure, we have a great hockey team here, but we're trying new ways to get the fans involved and have fun. That's what hockey is all about. It's about having fun, and that's definitely what we're trying to bring to Youngstown this year.
Yeah, it's just sitting in all these meetings. A lot of great ideas are coming apart, and I'm really excited to be a part of this, and I think the fans should be too. To have a water balloon fight after a game, I've never heard of it before, and I'd love to be. If I wasn't calling the games, I would love to be down there. Maybe probably throwing a couple water balloons at both of you. But
we'll launch one up into the press box for you.
We might have the Austintown Robotics T-shirt shooting robot, so we'll see if they can make the cannon waterproof, and we'll shoot one up at you.
We'll get Sparky to have a T-shirt cannon to shoot one up there as well.
Well, Sparky came up last game, and he came in right in front of us as we're calling the game, and I'm sitting there. Lipsack's trying to call the game, and I'm sitting there with Sparky, and we're just kind of high-fiving and having a great time as it happens. So trust me, if he gets wind of this, I guarantee he'll be up in that press box, and I might be wet by the end of the game.
And that is another thing that is definitely unsafe. Sparky with water balloons. I don't know how I feel about this, and I might want to be looking over my shoulder the next time I see him with a water balloon in his hand.
Well, I think Sparky was a little underprepared last game. He got plenty wet with water balloons. It'll be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out with a big barrel full of them to throw at kids.
What do you think's worse, though? The water balloons, the marshmallow shooter, or, his usual toilet paper toss?
That's
When it comes
tough.
to Sparky, all bets are off. He gets people in trouble all the time, and I think that's why he's such a fan favorite.
He is absolutely a fan favorite, and I think a night that's definitely going to be a fan favorite here coming up is our college night. Obviously, local college right up the street, Youngstown State. Lot of awesome opportunity for for the students to come down and not only see a great hockey game, but just have a great time. I think this is for the first time ever, we are going to have a tailgate specifically geared for college students. A lot of fun college games going to be happening at this tailgate starting at 3 p.m. on Saturday. So make sure you come on down and have a great time.
And one of the best things about, tailgates is we're not just for college students. Any alumni is welcome. We'd love to have anybody, rep their colleges and rep their past or present college experiences.
So, Jake, I heard a little rumor here that Youngstown State truly thinks that they could drink our alma mater, Slippery Rock. Is that true?
So Youngstown is talking a big talk. I know they live over their own little fantasy over in Youngstown. Sean, I will gladly be a representative and an ambassador for Slippery Rock. Not a chance Youngstown could outdrink Slippery Rock.
Well, hang on now. Being a Penguin alum, I don't know. I have been to numerous events and social gatherings at my time at Youngstown State, and I gotta say, I think we could hang, if not maybe go a little further.
So I think Sean, what he is saying here, this is all that I'm gathering, is that he is personally calling us Slippery Rockians out.
I think he is. And you know what the sad part is? When we sat in that meeting, we have a fellow alum here from Youngstown State with you, Sean, Ariel, who couldn't explain what a shotgun was. So I think we might have the upper advantage here.
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but I can definitely guarantee that all of you Slippery Rock students and Youngstown State students need to come out to our game on Saturday and come out to the tailgate and prove who's the better beer drinkers.
So on top of that, Sean, it's one thing to say, hey, let's come get drunk, because Slippery Rock will show up anywhere, anyhow. But you know what Slippery Rock loves more than anything? Free alcohol. So buy your ticket now, and you'll get a free shot as soon as you come into the game on Saturday.
So, Jake, could you please explain to me what we are going to be doing during the second period here? It looks like we're going to be doing some kind of jousting?
Not quite, Sean. Jousting will be happening, outside in the concourse, courtesy of Austintown Bounce. We're going to be doing an incredible jousting event. But during the second intermission, Sean, this isn't babies beer pong. This is full-size, 5-gallon bucket, giant ball beer pong. You know what's great about it? You drink just as much beer as the little thing. So come out, play full-size, play enhanced drinking games. You take your summer slip and flip, and we're putting it on ice. We're pulling out all the stops for college kids. We want them to have a great time. Obviously, be safe and responsible when it comes to driving home at the end of the night. But please, just come out and have fun, get drunk as you want.
It's definitely going to be an exciting weekend. It's going to be an exciting night. Definitely looking forward to it. Boys, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I'm really excited for the college game. I really am. But I wish I could be a part of it, though.
So here's the thing. We sit here and we talk, and we're all good friends in the studio. We like to talk about hockey. But Sean T, Mr. Stewart just personally called us out. I think we're going to have to do, a Twitter poll. Who's the best drinking town, Youngstown or Slippery Rock? Slippery Rock, we obviously know as fellow Slippery Rock alum, it's not even remotely close. So we're going to, rally behind that and get this rivalry started.
And I'm not even going to call out just Youngstown State. I'm going to call out every nearby college, whether it's Westminster, Duquesne, any college that thinks you can outdrink personally, even Youngstown State or Slippery Rock. You need to come out to this game and prove me wrong personally.
Well, it's definitely going to be a fun event. Looking forward to having all the college students out. Rep your school, rep your colors, and oh yeah, by the way, there's a hockey game once you finish all the fun outside activities. So make sure you call the Phantoms box office 330-747-7825. Get your $5 student tickets today or purchase at the box office. Same deal still applies. It's going to be a great night. Definitely looking forward to this exciting weekend of Youngstown Phantoms hockey. So, for Jake Jazinski and Sean Takatsi, I'm Sean Stewart. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time on Inside Phantoms Hockey.